making a video to tell you what happened to me last night. And I'm really just trying to understand the occurrence. And I'm trying to integrate it. But I feel uneasy, and I'm just gonna tell you. I was visited by some form of alien group last night, and it was the most terrifying experience of my entire life, and I was fully awake. So I couldn't sleep at all last night. I was feeling really depressed, and my arm hurts. My roommate, I fell asleep for a while, but then I woke up to the sound of my roommate bringing home a chick, and all throughout the night I kept waking up to the sound of sex. And it was really frustrating for some odd reason because I was just tired and I wanted to sleep, but I laid there for a long time, and then I began, I don't know how, I felt a very strong presence in my room. Oh, but before the presence, all night when I kept waking up at the weirdest hours, I heard these insane sounds, like drones and like kind of like helicopter sounds, but like deeper. And I was just really surprised that, I don't know if other people heard it, but yeah, so I heard a lot of that. And then at one point I woke up because my roommate was being really, really loud. And I laid there. I turned to my side because I started to feel strange, and my ears were starting to ring really, really loudly in a very uncomfortable way. Everything was zoning out. The moaning, the sex was very distant now, and I was distant from my own, my ears and sound and senses were very distant from my physical body, and it was a sensation of being ripped out of my body. And then I was on the side, my head facing the wall with the heater, and I felt a very strong presence on my back, behind me. And I would peek my eyes open a little bit, and I would see shadowy things around there, but I knew that I couldn't turn over to look at this thing because I would have literally had a heart attack. And this happened 2 times. I don't know how I got away from the situation the first time, but it got stronger the second time, and the only thing that I can kind of physically give a visual representation is sleep paralysis. But it was worse because it was my body was being taken up, and I opened my mouth, and this was all happening. I wasn't dreaming because I could hear the sex on and off, and I would open my eyes, and I was stuck, and I was so afraid. So I would open my mouth, and I tried screaming so loud to get help from my roommate, and nothing was coming out. So it was just and the more and more I did it, it would transmute my voice into a very robotic and computer-esque sound, and it started to sound almost, I say demonic because I don't know what else to describe it as. Obviously it wasn't Satan, but it was dark and totally unknown. And the more I screamed, I was screaming in their language, and so even if someone heard me, they wouldn't understand because it's not a language known to the humans. So like I said, I've never felt so much fear in my entire life before. And I laid there on my side, screaming and crying and just wanting this thing to let me go. And also, when I very first felt the presence of this, I don't know if there were many things or one thing, but just the thing, I instantly, because I was in a bookstore the other day, and I randomly saw the, oh my goodness, now I can't remember the name, but the serpent alien. I didn't even look in the book, I just saw the name of the, what is it called? Quetzalcoatl. And when this was happening, that name just flashed into my mind. I have never looked into it. I've never looked at images. I don't know anything about it. The minute I woke up this morning, I looked it up, and it made me feel sick at how significant this image that I looked at felt. Because when I was on my side, it felt like this thing. And it was kind of weird. This is gonna sound totally strange. It was kind of weird. What brought it each time was me waking up to the sound. Well, not even waking up, but just like being disturbed by the sound of my roommate having sex. And this serpent thing, like the minute I looked at it, it just reminded me of like slimy, like just dirty, and that's not the truth, but that's just what I felt. And so when I was on my side, I felt like this thing was like groping me and like touching me, and I just wanted to shrivel up and die. But this thing was like, whatever it was like making me, it was like making me rise up and taking me away. And honestly, the most important part, the second time that it occurred was even stronger. The ear sounds were even worse. You know how like before you're about to faint, like your ears zone out and it's like a high vibration and like everything zones out? That's how it was times 100. And then I let go and I just said Rom, Rom, Rom to protect me. And I remember specifically, there's so much happened, but one thing that I remember, and it was terrifying, was that I was brought up and I was in this white room with like, it was like white tiles, and it felt like a cylinder room of some sort. A cylinder, like white, very sterile room. And I did not belong there. And I wanted to go back down. And I don't know how long I was up there for, but then I remember falling back down into my body and just feeling raped. Not physically, I mean, maybe. Emotionally just raped. I feel like it wasn't my own will. And the only way that this thing would kind of like let me go was if I surrendered and let it do me. So yeah, and then today I've been kind of struggling. I'm trying to like, in a very bad way, ground myself, and so like I'm overindulging in food because I feel like that's gonna bring me down, and like it won't let this thing take me again. And that's really, really bad, obviously. And it's kind of embarrassing to say, but I mean, I'm starting to realize that's what I do when I overeat. It's because I'm trying to be like grounded and like safe in a way. I don't know what to think about this, and I've never experienced something so vivid and totally, entirely awake. And yeah, I'm at a loss for words. And I'm quite afraid to fall asleep again tonight. If anyone has any experience with this, please let me know. This happened last night on, what is today, the 15th or something? So on the 14th or the 13th, I don't remember. Yeah, oh my god. It's so crazy. Like, I remember after it happened and I came back down though, and I woke up later on in the night, I didn't feel like me. And then at one point, it was a weird feeling. I was trying to like meditate when I was going to sleep, and there was like a glimpse of like one moment of like me wanting to call this thing back to take me away because I got really depressed, and so I was just like, yeah, let this thing take me away. Why didn't I let it take me away? And even though it was the most frightening thing in the entire world, but I just had the feeling like I could, when I was laying on my side. Oh, also, when I was laying on my side, this thing was trying to elude me to believe that I was in my old room, but I knew I wasn't because I was facing the wall and I didn't have white walls and I had green walls before. And like the whole time I was like with my eyes wide open. This thing like was transmuting something, like trying to tell me I was somewhere that I wasn't. And it was really throwing me for a mind loop. And anyways, yeah, so after this all happened, I don't know why, but like I wanted it to come back. And that scares me because I know when it was there and when I felt the presence of this thing like standing right beside me, it made me just want to disappear and like be saved from somebody. And what scares me the most is that it wouldn't allow me to move or scream, and like it pretty much paralyzed me. So yeah, that's my story from last night. And I wasn't on drugs. I wasn't high. I was awake. And I guess that's the most frightening part. Funny enough, I have the most intense things happen when I'm not high and I'm not intoxicated or influenced by external forces like alcohol or drugs or whatever it is. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna end this video, and I hope somebody out there can relate to this, or honestly, I don't hope someone has a similar experience because it was terrifying, but you know, if someone does, please reach out to me because I kind of feel like I need some grounding or support or just someone who can help me with this. Thanks for listening. Sorry this story is really wacky. Yeah. Have a good day.